This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back, Jackrabbit fans. It's Ben Anderson here in First Bank and Trust Arena with Collegiate Sports. It's Jackrabbit Volleyball here, the last regular season home game of the season and the last regular season game here in First Bank and Trust Arena for this volleyball squad who has been so successful this season. Tonight they're taking on the Fighting Hawks from the University of North Dakota, and we've got a couple of great seniors in the house tonight, as well as it is senior night here. 4 seniors on this Jackrabbit women's volleyball squad. Rachel Weber, a 5th-year senior. Sydney Shetton, a redshirt senior. Annalie Bentley-Brown, a 5th-year senior. And, of course, Aaliyah Schlimgen, a senior as well. 4 seniors tonight wrapping up their seasons as Jackrabbits, but don't worry, there's plenty more Jackrabbit volleyball coming up this weekend, Monday and Tuesday. The Summit League tournament is going to be right here in Brookings, and we'll have it for you here on Collegiate Sports. And tonight, the Jackrabbits look to round out their conference year. The Jackrabbits have gone 15-0 so far in the Summit League, and they're looking to make it 16-0 in the Summit League. This will be the first time an undefeated team has won the conference since USD achieved that in 2019. And if the Jackrabbits win tonight, they'd be the 11th team in Summit League history to go unbeaten in the conference regular season. So we will be looking to see if the Jackrabbits can become the 11th in the history books of the Summit League, going undefeated in the conference schedule. The Jackrabbits are 21-3 overall. UND is 4-11 in the conference, so the Jackrabbits should have no problem here tonight, but we will see. Last week in Kansas City, the Jackrabbits got a win 3-0 over the Kansas City Roos, and why is that important? That's because Dan Georgalis, head coach for the Jackrabbits, got his 100th career win with the Jackrabbits. So congratulations to head coach Georgalis getting that last week against Kansas City. Let's get the starting lineups here for South Dakota State for the last time in the regular season. Up first for the Jackrabbits, absolutely not least, it's your setter at 5'8", a junior out of Eaton, Colorado. It's number 5, Riley Martin. Second for the Jackrabbits will be designated hitter, 5'8" freshman out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, number 6, Maggie Meister. Next for the Jackrabbits is right side middle blocker at 6'1" out of Sioux Falls, a sophomore out of Goodhue, Minnesota. It's number 8, Madison Burr. Fourth for the Jackrabbits and your Summit League Player of the Year last year, by the way, outside hitter, 5'11" junior out of Hartford, Wisconsin. It's number 10, Sylvie Scotts. Next is one of your seniors in this Jackrabbit squad, middle blocker at 6'5", a redshirt senior out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, number 11, Sydney Shetton. Another senior is up next, is right side middle blocker at 6'1", 5th-year senior out of Lincoln, Nebraska, number 13, Annalie Ventling-Brown. And your libero tonight, as always for the Jackrabbits, will be 5'9", junior out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, number 17, Jocelyn Richardson. That will be the starting group for your Jackrabbits. Dan Georgalis is the head coach in his 6th season, 100 wins, 64 losses in the career of the great Dan Georgalis. So we will get ready for this first set matchup. The Jackrabbits taking on the Fighting Hawks here at home in the last regular season game of the year and the last time I will be here in a regular season match for the Jackrabbits as the broadcaster. I'll be graduating this spring, so such a privilege to be able to broadcast these volleyball games here, especially in this winning program we have here, looking to go undefeated in the Summit League. We'll see if they can do it tonight. Looking to put one more win on the board and go 16-0 in the conference schedule, becoming the 11th team to ever do it in the Summit League and the next team to do it since the 2019 Coyotes. So the Jackrabbits looking to become an historical presence in the history books and ready tonight. The Fighting Hawks starting group will be Mathea Dalton, Izzy McCormick, Paige Barber, Vanessa Washington, Katie Revere, Sadie White, and Ava Galvin. The Fighting Hawks will start with the serve. And we get ready to go here with the serve away. Richardson dives for that one. Martin has to get a recovery and sconce over with the tip. Fighting Hawks with the return. It's a tip back, and Ventling Brown is there to Richardson here on the left side sconce, and another tip over that's dug up in the back row. And Shetnin, center net, sets it down in empty space. Sydney Shetnin gets the first kill of the day for the Jackrabbit squad, and it will be 1-0 to start this one off with the Shetnin kill. Jocelyn Richardson to serve it away for the Jackrabbits' first serve of the day. Fighting Hawks back with an attacking error as that one heads out of bounds on their return. It'll be 2-0 after the Richardson serve. She'll be back behind the line to do it again here in the third point of set number 1. Richardson gets the ace as it knuckles off the hands of Mathea Dalton, and that will be an ace for Jocelyn Richardson, starting this one off with a hot hand. Richardson back, that's to Dalton again. Here with the return, that's to Riley Martin. Maggie Meister bumps it up. Here is Scotts with the bump over. Free ball here for the Fighting Hawks. This one blocked by Ventling Brown. Quick over to the Fighting Hawks again. Here they go for a spike. That's blocked by Burr. It stays on the Fighting Hawks side. Ventling Brown gets a hand on it. It stays on the Jackrabbit side this time. Ventling Brown gets it back from Meister, and she spikes it over. The Fighting Hawks are ready for it. They send back a heater, and that's going to be a kill for Paige Barber, and the Fighting Hawks will be on the board with 1. It's 3-1, set number 1. Jackrabbits ahead by 2. Behind the line is Sadie White to serve it away for the Fighting Hawks. That's to Sylvie Scotts. Martin sets up Burr, who sends it into the hands of the blockers of the Fighting Hawks. It'll be point for the Jackrabbits as that one goes out of bounds on the Fighting Hawks touch. Rachel Weber back to serve now for the Jackrabbits as they lead by 3 in set number 1. Burr keeps it on the Fighting Hawks side, and it will stay there as it hits the ground off the Burr block in center net. And the Jacks advance to a 4-point lead over the Fighting Hawks. It's 5-1, set number 1. Weber to serve it again. Weber's serve gets across the net. It's an ace for Rachel Weber. That one hit the top of the tape and fell on the Fighting Hawks side of the net, and Rachel Weber will pick up the second Jackrabbit ace of the day with that serve, and she's back to serve again. This one deep, that's picked up by the libero for the Fighting Hawks, and they return with the spike. That one heads out of bounds on an attacking error, and it's point Jackrabbits. It's 7-1, Jacks by 6. Set number 1, Rachel Weber is on a 3-0 scoring run, making a 4-0 scoring run, and she's to serve it again. This one knuckles off, and Fighting Hawks have to bring it back in bounds, and they get it to Paige Barber, who's able to get it down in empty space. Kill for Paige Barber. She's the only Fighting Hawk on the board today, as she has both of their points. It's 7-2, Jacks by 5. Back to serve will be Paige Barber. Barber's serve is to Jocelyn Richardson, and that one knuckles off of her attempted bump, and that hits the ground, and Barber with a service ace. And now Paige Barber has all 3 of the Fighting Hawks points. It's 7-3, Jacks by 4. Barber to serve again. Here to Richardson. Martin sets it up for Sconce on the left side, and she gets it through the block into the back row. Sylvie Sconce with the kill. It's 8-3, Jacks by 5. Sylvie Sconce to check out, and in comes Aaliyah Schlimgen, one of the seniors for this Jackrabbit squad, in there now. Aaliyah Schlimgen is from Sauk City, Wisconsin. She will serve it. Point for the Fighting Hawks there. It'll be 8-4, Jacks by 4, set number 1. Back to serve for the Fighting Hawks will be Vanessa Washington. Washington here to Weber. Martin sets up Hannah Klein, the freshman, and this one goes out of bounds on Klein's touch. Point for the Fighting Hawks there. It'll be 8-5, Jacks by 3. It's set number 1. Washington to serve again. Washington serve goes to Richardson. Here is Burr who gets it in on the outside. Madison Burr with a kill on the right side, getting it at empty space down that sideline, and the Jackrabbits will lead it by 4. It's 9-5 in the first set. Back to serve will be Madison Burr. Madison Burr's out of Goodhue, Minnesota. Had a great freshman season last year with the Jackrabbits. This one gets into Shetnin's block, but it stays on the Jackrabbit side. Shetnin keeps it off the court. Klein with the tip over. Here's a return tip by the Fighting Hawks, and Klein goes for the block. It heads out of bounds on her touch. Point for the Fighting Hawks. It'll be 9-6. Jacks are up by 3. It's set number 1. Back to serve is going to be Katie Revere for the Fighting Hawks. Here is Martin setting up Klein on the left side, and Hannah Klein gets it through the block for the kill. Hannah Klein has had such a great freshman year this year for the Jackrabbits. She comes out of Albany, Minnesota, and the Albany Husky High School team made a state run when she was a senior. Had a great year in high school, coming to the Jackrabbits, having a great year to start off. Served by the Jackrabbits is returned by the Fighting Hawks. It's down in empty space, and it'll be point for the Fighting Hawks. 10-7 there. And back to serve for the Fighting Hawks will be Mathea Dalton, who just got that last point. And Dalton gets it to Sylvie Sconce. Here's Martin's set up for Klein, who gets it through the front block. It goes into the back row of the Fighting Hawks. They're looking for a return. They get a tip across the net, and Hannah Klein and Richardson caught out of position on that left side. Heads in behind him and sneaks down on that left sideline for the Fighting Hawk kill there. It'll be 10-8, the Jacks by 2 as the Fighting Hawks try to get back into this one. Service from UND. Here is Klein to Shetnin. Shetnin on a tip over. The Fighting Hawks ready for that. They send back a heater of a spike. Richardson with an excellent dig. The Fighting Hawks get it back over to the Jackrabbit side. Here's Klein on a spike. The Fighting Hawks scrambling to bring this one back into play as it heads towards the scorer's table. And here's a free ball for Sylvie Sconce. Riley Martin and Ventling Brown on the right side with a spike that's dug up in the back row of UND. They try to get it across the net. It's blocked by Ventling Brown. They go to the same side. Ventling Brown with another stop at the net. They go to her side again. Richardson dives with an excellent dig there. And it's back over to the UND side. And that one heads out of bounds on an attacking error from UND. And point for the Jackrabbits. 11-8, the Jacks by 3. What a play by Jocelyn Richardson. A diving one-handed dig to keep that one into play. Brought it back across the net over to the UND side. Here is a service by Maggie Meister, another freshman that's having a great season for this Jackrabbit team. Spike return from UND picked up by Meister. Here's Shetnin on a return. That one goes too far out of the back sideline. And that will be a point for the Fighting Hawks on the attacking error there by Shetnin. This first set brought back by UND. They're only down by 2. It's 11-9. Service by the libero for UND. And this one might be an ace, but Riley Martin gets the save as she pulls it in from out of bounds. Here is the return by UND. Martin there. Meister now sconce on the left side. Spikes through. It's dug up. Shetton with a blockhead center net. Sets it down on the UND side. It'll be 12-9. The Jackrabbits are up by 3 in set number 1. Back to serve is Jocelyn Richardson. She will serve it away from behind the line on the yellow and blue side. To the back row of UND. They go for a spike. Gets through the block of sconce. The Jackrabbits ready for it. Ventling Brown gets it over, and Barber could not dig it. That was a messy point, but the Jackrabbits come up with it. It's 13-9. The Jackrabbits up by 4 now in set number 1. Richardson to serve again. And Richardson gets it to the back row middle. Here's a return from UND. Blocked up front by Madison Burr. And that's a point for the Jackrabbits. It's 14-9. Jacks by 5. It's still set number 1. Here's Jocelyn Richardson to serve it again. Richardson, that to Barber for UND. Here over on 2 for UND as Sconce gets it up and over. And here's a return by Paige Barber, and Meister cannot dig it. Fighting Hawks break the streak of the Jackrabbits. It'll be 14-10, and the Jacks up by 4 here in set number 1. Back to serve is Sadie White for UND. Here's Meister. Martin has to dive for that one, and Burr cannot tip it over above the block. And point for the Fighting Hawks. That point was messed up from the beginning. Meister couldn't get it cleanly off the service and forced Riley Martin to try to get a bump in to Burr. Service again here by Sadie White here to Sconce. Martin back set with Ventling Brown on the right side, and there's going to be a kill for Annalee Ventling Brown, the senior on the board today for the Jackrabbits on that right side. That's going to be Annalee Ventling Brown's second kill of the day. And Rachel Weber back to serve it. She gets it to the back left corner. And here's a spike return as Richardson could not dig that one up. It'll be a kill for the Fighting Hawks. It's 15-12. The Jackrabbits up by 3 is set number 1. Service by Paige Barber for UND. Here's to Meister. Martin sets over on 2. It'll be a kill for Riley Martin as the Fighting Hawks not ready for that one. It'll be 16-12. Jacks by 4 after the Riley Martin kill. Sylvie Sconce to serve it away. Here to Paige Barber. And they set up a back set spike on the near side. And that gets through Rachel Weber's grasp and down to the court. It'll be 16-13. The Jacks up by 3 in set number 1. Back to serve it now for the Fighting Hawks will be Vanessa Washington. Washington serve here to Weber. Martin back set. Here's Burr on the right side, spiking across, and the return from UND is out of bounds. Point for the Jackrabbits on the Madison Burr spike. 17-13 the score. The Jackrabbits ahead by 4. And Madison Burr to serve it. And this one going to be a free ball for Rachel Weber. Here's Martin and Burr on the right side getting it through the front block. It's picked up and Klein unloads on that thing and it flies out of the back boundary, out of bounds. Point for the Fighting Hawks. 17-14, the Jackrabbits ahead by 3. Katie Revere back to serve for UND, and this one behind Weber's bump, and she could not gain control of that one. Ace that time for Katie Revere. It'll be 17-15 now. Jacks ahead by 2. Revere's serve again is back to Weber. Here's Martin, and Klein gets it into the block, and it forced out of bounds on the Fighting Hawks touch for the Klein kill. It'll be 18-15. Jacks ahead by 3. It's set number 1. Back to serve. It is number 5, Riley Martin. Martin's serve is a deep one into the back row. That one dug up narrowly, and a free ball here for the Jackrabbits. And Ventling Brown into the block, and it heads out of bounds on the UND touch. Jackrabbit point on the Ventling Brown kill. It's 19-15, Jacks ahead by 4. Timeout going to be used by UND. We'll take it with them. Be back in 60 seconds here on Collegiate Sports.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into First Bank and Trust Arena. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegiate Sports. The Jackrabbits lead the first set 19-15, and UND forced to use their first of 2 timeouts of the set. And Riley Martin is serving for the Jackrabbits as we exit that timeout. So Martin back behind the line. Jackrabbits up by 4. Martin's serve picked up by the libero for UND. Here is the return as that one heads out of bounds. An attacking error that time by Ava Galvin. And point for the Jacks. It's 20-15. The Jackrabbits up by 5. And it is still set number 1. Jackrabbits 5 points away from putting away the first set. Riley Martin back to serve. Martin's serve is to the back right corner. That's Paige Barber for UND. Here comes a spike. That one heads out of bounds. Was it touched by the Jackrabbits? Official says no. It'll be 21-15 as that attacking error comes across from UND. The Jacks leading it by 6. Riley Martin is on a 4-0 scoring run while serving. This one shallow, and it hits the tape of the net, and it falls on the Jackrabbit side. It'll be point for the Fighting Hawks. Jackrabbits still up by 5. It's 21-16. Mathea Dalton to serve it for UND. That one out of bounds on the back line. Service error there, and a point for the Jackrabbits. It'll be 22-16. The Jackrabbits are ahead by 6. Hannah Klein, the freshman, back to serve it from the back left corner. Klein serves it across the net to the back right corner of UND. And here is a spike down in center net from Ava Galvin, and she's able to get the kill there for UND. It'll be 22-17, the Jacks ahead by 5. Back to serve will be the libero for UND. That's Izzy McCormick. Here to Meister. Martin and Shetnin on a spike, and she'll get the kill. Sydney Shetnin sets it down in center court for the point. It's 23-17, Jacks by 6. 2 points away from winning the first set, and Jocelyn Richardson back to serve. Richardson to the back right corner. UND goes for the spike on near right side. Meister able to get under it, but that one heads into the stands. And point for the Fighting Hawks. It'll be 23-18. The Jackrabbits ahead by 5. And serving for UND is Sadie White. And White gets it out of the back line. Service error. Point for the Jacks. It'll be 24-18, and it'll be set point, set number 1 for the Jackrabbits as senior Rachel Weaver comes in to serve it. Weaver's serve is picked up by UND. Here comes the return. Meister under it. There Martin and Sconce able to get it through for the kill, and Sconce puts it away to end out the first set in favor of the Jacks. It'll be 25-18 final score of the first set. We're headed into set number 2 in 3 minutes. Can the Jackrabbits go undefeated in the Summit League, the 11th team to ever do it? We'll find out in a couple more sets. Stick around.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7. This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
SDSU Theater and Dance continues its season of concealment with the chilling musical Thrill Me, the Leopold and Loeb story.
This dark and intimate musical is based on the infamous 1924 murder case following two wealthy young men whose twisted relationship leads them down a path of crime, manipulation, and betrayal.
With a haunting score and gripping storytelling, Thrill Me explores obsession, power, and the consequences of desire taken to dangerous extremes.
This production is recommended for adult audiences.
Performances will be in the Oscar Larson Performing Arts Center, November 20th through the 22nd at 7 p.m. and November 23rd at 2 p.m.
Tickets can be purchased online at sdsutheater.org, at the North Box Office at the Oscar Larson Performing Arts Center, Monday through Friday from 1 to 4, or by calling 605-688-6045.
Don't miss this thrilling true crime musical experience. Get your tickets for Thrill Me today.
Welcome back into First Bank and Trust Arena. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegian Sports. So glad to have you alongside me for this one, the last regular season match for the Jackrabbits here at home. And the Jacks taking on the UND Fighting Hawks in this one. Jackrabbits win set number 1, 25-18. We head into set number 2. We wipe the score clean. It's 0-0 to start off the second set. The Jackrabbits will have the first serve. Jackrabbits honoring 4 seniors on the squad today. 5th-year senior out of Northfield, Minnesota, number 2, Rachel Weber. Also out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, redshirt senior, number 11, Sydney Shetnin. Senior out of Sauk City, Wisconsin, number 14, Aaliyah Schlimgen. And 5th-year senior out of Lincoln, Nebraska, number 13, Annalie Ventling Brown. Maggie Meister back to serve it to start off our second set for the Jackrabbits. Meister is picked up by the libero for UND. Here's Paige Barber on the near side, and Barber threads the needle through the block of Ventling Brown and Shetnin. And the Fighting Hawks start with the first point of the second set. Libero Izzy McCormick to serve it for the Fighting Hawks. Here to Meister. Martin with a tip over on hit number 2, and the Fighting Hawks scramble, but they send back a spike. Here is Sconce inbounds on that far sideline, and Sylvie Sconce puts it down for the kill. It's 1-all in set number 2, and Jocelyn Richardson is back to serve it. Richardson serve. picked up this time by Mathea Dalton. Here is a spike over by Washington, and that one heads out of bounds. Point for the Jackrabbits. It'll be 2-1. Jacks by 1. It's set number 2. Richardson to serve it. This is Paige Barber with the bump. And she gets the spike back. That's blocked by Ventling Brown on that near side. And Annalie Ventling Brown shuts down Paige Barber, who leads the UND side win kills with 6. Jacks with the point. It's 3-1. The Jackrabbits ahead by 2. Richardson's gonna get an ace this time as Dalton can't dig it. And the service ace for Richardson. That's her second ace of the day. And Jocelyn will be on a 3-0 scoring run. Her next serve is to Barber. Bad set there, but she gets it back for a spike, and Richardson could not quite dig that one as that one was headed wild out of bounds off of a block attempt by the Jackrabbits. A lead point for the Fighting Hawks. 4-2. Jackrabbits up by 2. Fighting Hawks on the service. Here is Sconce, and Sconce bumps it up too close to the net, and it's set down on the Jackrabbit side by the Fighting Hawks. It'll be 4-3. The Jackrabbits are up by 1. Back to serve for UND is Sadie White. Here to Maggie Meister. Martin and Burr on the loads on it center net, but that one headed too far to the left and out of bounds. Fighting Hawks get the point, and we're tied up at 4 in set number 2. Here is Sadie White to serve it again. Meister dives for the dig. Here's Riley Martin, and Sconce into the block of UND and heads out of bounds on the Jackrabbit touch. And point for the Fighting Hawks there. It'll be 5-4 as the Fighting Hawks lead the Jackrabbits by 1 in set number 2. Here is Sadie White to serve it again. She's on a 3-0 scoring run of her own for UND. Martin back set to Burr, and she sets it down in empty space, center net. Madison Burr ties us up at 5 with the kill. Rachel Weber, one of those seniors for the Jackrabbit squad, back to serve it now. She's got a service ace today. And Weber, this one knuckles off towards the crowd, brought back inbounds by UND, and the bump could not make the net. And Izzy McCormick on the attacking air there. McCormick had the bad dig and then the bad bump, which couldn't get the ball over, and it'll be an attacking error. Won't go in the books as a service ace for Weber, unfortunately. But Weber has another chance here on her serve. This one to McCormick again. The Fighting Hawks go over on 2, and Meister able to get it across after a good dig by Weber. Back over free ball. Here is Richardson. Martin back set. Burr, and Burr with the hammer unloads on that thing. And it gets blocked to the ground on the UND side by the Fighting Hawks. Point for the Jackrabbits. It'll be 7-5. Jacks by 2. Set number 2. Weber serving still. This one inbounds. It'll be a service ace for Rachel Weber, her second of the day, as the Fighting Hawks don't even go for that one close to the back line, but certainly inbounds, and Weber gets her second service ace. It's 8-5. The Fighting Hawks use their first of 2 timeouts of the set. We'll take it with them. Be back in 30 seconds on Collegiate Sports.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back in. It's the second set. UND uses their first of 2 timeouts in this second set. The Jackrabbits lead it 8-5. Rachel Weber just hit her second service ace of the day, and she's still serving on a 4-0 scoring run. Weber and the Fighting Hawks make a return. Weber on a dig. Martin bumps it over, and that one's too far to the right, out of bounds. Point for the Fighting Hawks there, as it will be 8-6. The Jackrabbits lead it by 2. Back to serve for the Fighting Hawks will be number 15, Paige Barber. Barber leads the Fighting Hawks with kills. She's got 7 of them. Meister to Martin. Here's Sconce, who gets the kill down in front of the libero McCormick. Point for the Jacks. It'll be 9-6. And the Jackrabbits up by 3 here in set number 2. Back to serve is Sylvie Sconce. This one in the back row of the Fighting Hawks, it gets over on their first touch. Here is Sconce, who jumps up for the spike, and she unloads on it. The Fighting Hawks dig it up. Free ball here for the Jacks. Richardson to Martin. Here is Hannah Klein on that far side. Finds empty space, and Hannah Klein with the kill there. It'll be 10-6. The Jacks up by 4. Sconce back to serve still. I like to joke with Sylvie Sconce. She's got the hardest last name in Jackrabbit athletics, I think, to pronounce. Fighting Hawks tip over. They find empty space, and they get the kill. It'll be 10-7 with a Fighting Hawk point. Jacks up by 3. Vanessa Washington to serve it for UND. Here is to Sconce. Martin setting up Hannah Klein. Klein hits the tape. She couldn't get it quite across the net, and Fighting Hawks pick up the point there. It'll be 10-8, the Jacks by 2. It's set number 2. Vanessa Washington for UND serving. She's got 2 kills, 3 errors on 10 total attempts, hitting percentage of -0.1. Here is Martin to Burr. Burr gets blocked. It stays on the Jackrabbit side. Martin back again with Hannah Klein. This one gets to the back row of UND. They go for the return. Blocked by Hannah Klein. And Madison Burr on that far side. Point for the Jacks off the block party there on the right side of the net. It's 11-8. The Jacks by 3. Set number 2. Madison Burr to serve it. UND in the back row. They go for the spike. And here is Martin to Klein. Klein gets blocked on that right side. That time it's Katie Revere to set it down. 11-9. Fighting Hawks trying to battle back into this second set. The Jacks lead it by 2. Revere will serve it for the Fighting Hawks. Here is going to be Sconce. Martin back set. Shetnin tips over the block. UND's ready for that one as they send back a return, but it'll be a free ball for Richardson. Martin back set Shetnin again. Shetnin unloads on it. It's in the back row of UND. They go for a spike return. It's to Weber. Martin setting up Klein. Klein forces it through the block and gets the point. 12-9. The Jacks by 3. Good placement there by Hannah Klein. Got it through the block. UND touches it, and it heads out of bounds on UND's touch. Riley Martin to serve. Just hit 2,000 career assists. And the last game against Kansas City, as the Fighting Hawks pick up a point on a kill. But Riley Martin, congratulations with 2,000 career assists as a Jackrabbit. Jacks lead by 2. Service from UND. Here's Martin to Ventling Brown. It goes near that left sideline. They'll say it's out. And point for the Fighting Hawks as they battle back into the second set. It's 12-11. And the team in green down by 1. Mathea Dalton to serve for UND. Looking for the tie up here in set number 2. Sconce. Klein. Here is Sconce again. Light spike over. UND's ready for that one. They meet the net on their return attempt. Attacking error means point Jacks. It's 13-11. Jackrabbits by 2, set number 2. Hanna Klein subs out for Maggie Meister to serve it. Meister to the back row, UND. Sconce on a block, and back to the left side. Here's a block for Ventling Brown as UND kept the volleyball for most of that point. Block on the far side by Sconce. Comes back, block on the near side by Ventling Brown. It'll make it 14-11, Jacks by 3. Meister meets the net on her serve. It'll be a service error. Point Fighting Hawks. It's 14-12, Jacks by 2, set number 2. Izzy McCormick, libero for the Fighting Hawks to serve. Here to Meister. Martin back set. Ventling Brown gets blocked up front. It's Paige Barber for UND, and the point goes to the Fighting Hawks. It's 14-13. Jacks by 1. It's still set number 2. McCormick to serve again. This one goes too far off the back left corner, back right corner. It'll be point Jackrabbits on the service error there by McCormick. 15-13 the score, the Jacks by 2. Here is Jocelyn Richardson to serve it. Fighting Hawks all over it. Barber with the tip over it, heads out of bounds. Point for the Jacks. Jacks lead it by 3 in set number 2, and Richardson to serve again. And this one was looking like an ace, but somehow UND pulls it off the court, and Martin to Sconce. Sconce gets it into the back row of UND. Here's Barber, who gets blocked by Madison Burr, and that one stays down on the UND side. It'll be 17-13, Jacks by 4 after the Burr block. That one was nearly a Richardson ace, but somehow it's dug up by Paige Barber and UND. Ventling Brown near side block again. Point for the Jackrabbits, and it's a block party up front for these Jacks. Madison Burr with 3 blocks today. Annalie Ventling Brown with 4 blocks today. And it's 18-13, Jacks by 5. UND on the return of Richardson's serve. Here's Martin, and Richardson with the bump over free ball UND this time. And they go Paige Barber. She gets it through the block. Martin has to run after it. And here is Sconce who unloads on it. That one hits the scoreboard before going over the net. And it'll be a point for the Jackrabbits and a kill for Sylvie Sconce as that one hit the scoreboard. It's 19-13, Jacks by 6. Fighting Hawks used their last time out of the set. We'll take it with them. Be back in 60 seconds on Collegiate Sports.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into First Bank and Trust Arena. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegiate Sports. So glad to have you alongside me for this one. The Jackrabbits lead the Fighting Hawks 19-13. The Jacks won the first set 25-18. Fighting Hawks used their last time out of the set as Jocelyn Richardson on a 5-0 scoring run. Back to serve. UND making some substitutions as we wait for Richardson's serve. And Richardson's serve is away. Here picked up by the back row, UND. Paige Barber into the block of Ventling Brown. That one heads out of bounds. It'll be a point for the Jackrabbits. I think they'll say that one was untouched by Ventling Brown. It'll be 20-13. The Jacks lead it by 7. This one off the chest of Dalton, and UND gets the return. Here's Ventling Brown on a tip over, and it'll be a kill for Annalie Ventling Brown as she gets it through the block of UND. It'll be 21-13. Jacks lead it by 8, and Jocelyn Richardson on a huge scoring run. Richardson to serve it again. Picked up back row UND. They go for the tip over. Here's Martin, Richardson, and Scott. Scott's tips over. UND on this near side. Paige Barber sent it too far, out of bounds. Point for the Jacks. South Dakota State on a 7-0 scoring run. That's now 8-0 scoring run, led by Jocelyn Richardson behind the line. Richardson to McCormick. Here, tipped over by UND. Burr there, back to Scotts. Scotts gets blocked. That will end the scoring run. That time it was a stop by Kamani Rugley for UND with the block on the right side of the net. The Jackrabbits lead this one by 8. Need 3 more points to put away the second set. Service by Sadie White is to Meister. Martin and Ventling Brown gets it through, and another kill for the senior Anna Lee with 4 of them today. 23-14, the Jackrabbits leading this one by 9. 2 points away from the second set, and Rachel Weber to serve. Here to McCormick for UND. Barber into the block. Here is Meister. Martin back set. And Burr on the tip over. That one nearly down. And a diving dig from UND. Here is Richardson. Martin and Sconce across the net. And down as UND cannot dig it. And Sconce with the kill. It's now set point, set number 2. 24-14 for the Jackrabbits. Rachel Weber, a senior for the Jacks, back to serve. The Jackrabbits are on an 8-1 scoring run between Weber and Richardson. This one knuckles off, and it'll be a service ace to end out the set. Rachel Weber with 3 service aces today, and that one comes at the right time. The second set goes the way of the Jackrabbit, and it'll be 2-0. 25-14 final score of the second set. We head into the third set. The Jackrabbits trying to get the sweep here and trying to stay undefeated in the Summit League. Would be the 11th team to ever pull off the undefeated season in the conference. We'll see if it happens. Third set coming up after this.
SDSU Theater and Dance continues its season of concealment with the chilling musical Thrill Me, the Leopold and Loeb story.
This dark and intimate musical is based on the infamous 1924 murder case following 2 wealthy young men whose twisted relationship leads them down a path of crime, manipulation, and betrayal.
With a haunting score and gripping storytelling, Thrill Me explores obsession, power, and the consequences of desire taken to dangerous extremes.
This production is recommended for adult audiences.
Performances will be in the Oscar Larson Performing Arts Center, November 20th through the 22nd at 7 p.m. and November 23rd at 2 p.m.
Tickets can be purchased online at sdsutheater.org, at the North Box Office at the Oscar Larson Performing Arts Center, Monday through Friday from 1 to 4, or by calling 605-688-6045.
Don't miss this thrilling true crime musical experience. Get your tickets for Thrill Me today.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheese cake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated. This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome in to First Bank and Trust Arena. The Jackrabbits up 2-0 over the UND Fighting Hawks. Won the second set 25-14. Led by a run late in that set by Jocelyn Richardson. Went on an 8-0 run. UND got a point, and then Rachel Weber finished it off. The Jackrabbits ended out that set on a 9-1 scoring run. Jackrabbits looking to be the 11th team in Summit League history to go undefeated in volleyball in the conference in the last regular season here tonight. Here is Martin to Shetnin as Shetnin's going to get a kill to start off our third set. As the Fighting Hawks started with the service, Richardson's return is the way of a spike. And it'll be Jocelyn Richardson back to serve. Richardson having a very successful night on service. This one coming in hot from Ava Galvin, and that'll be a kill for the Fighting Hawks. We'll be tied up at 1 to start set number 3. Mathea Dalton to serve it. Here's Meister, Martin, and Scott. Scott's with a block and a kill. Sylvie Scotts. 2-1, the Jacks by 1 after the Scots kill. Got it through the front block on that left side and into the back row, and they could not dig it up back there. Too much heat on that one. Came in with a lot of velocity. Here's a service by Weber. Blocked by Scotson Burr up front of that left side again. And another point for the Jacks off the block. It'll be the 4th block of the day for Madison Burr and the first block for Sylvie Scotts. Jacks by 2. It's number 2, Rachel Weber, to serve it. And here's the Fighting Hawks return. Center net, and Burr got a piece of it, but couldn't hold that one behind the net. And it's down on the Jackrabbits side. Fighting Hawks are down by 1. It's 3-2. Back to serve will be Fighting Hawk libero Izzy McCormick. McCormick's service is to Weber. Weber bumps it up. Martin sets up Sconce. Sconce with a heater. That one close to that line. They say inbounds, and Sylvie Sconce gets the kill. That one from the left side of the net into the right side of UND. Hit that line, and that means it's inbounds. The Jacks up by 2 in set number 3. Senior Aaliyah Schlimgen back into the game to serve it. And that one picked up by UND in the center. It's blocked by Martin and Burr. And a whistle. Net violation on the Fighting Hawks. Point for the Jacks. It'll be 5-2. The Jackrabbits up by 3. Set number 3. Fighting Hawks might get a challenge here. We'll see. And we will have a coach's challenge from the North Dakota sideline. Taking a look at that net violation call on the last point. Going up for it was Kaimani Rugley, and she spikes that thing at the net. Excuse me, that was actually Barber, I believe. Rugley on the other side of it. And the replay shows the net hit. And we'll see what the ruling is. And we will see UND head coach talking with the replay official. And we'll see if it stays a 5-2 game or if we change up the score a little. Looked like a net violation to me on the replay. We'll see. And the call will stand. In favor of the Jackrabbits there. It's 5-2. The net violation call stands. The Jacks up by 3. It's set number 3. Back to serve is Aaliyah Schlimgen again. She's a senior for the Jackrabbit squad. Schlimgen here to the back row middle, UND. Return on the right side here to Richardson. Martin back set to Burr. Burr with a spike, and that's down in front of McCormick for the kill. Madison Burr with another point on the board. It's 6-2. The Jackrabbits will be on a 3-0 scoring run led by Aaliyah Schlimgen behind the line. Madison Burr's got 7 kills today. Schlimgen tips the top of the tape and gets over to the UND side. That one to Kimani Rugley, and she gets it across the net. Could not be dug up by the Jacks. It'll be 6-3. The Jacks up by 3. Set number 3. Reagan McIntosh to serve. Here to Weber. Martin. And here is Klein. Klein, it comes right back here to Richardson. Klein gets blocked that time, and it stays down on the Jackrabbit side. That one was Rugley. Fighting Hawks get the point. It'll be 6-4. The Jacks up by 2 in set number 3. Service by UND picked up by Richardson. Here is Burr, and she gets another kill on that outside in front of McCormick. Burr on that right side gets it in front of the libero for UND, Izzy McCormick again, and McCormick cannot dig it off the hit by Burr, and it'll be Madison Burr back to serve it for the Jacks as they lead by 3. Burr, this one pulled in, and a free ball coming for Madison Burr. Riley Martin on a direct set on 2 will get her second kill of the day. Riley Martin finds empty space. Riley Martin with 22 assists today and 3 digs. Typically one of those team player setters, but 2 kills on the board for Riley Martin today. Here is the return by Rugley for UND, and they'll get the point as she finds empty space. Down on the Jackrabbit side, Madison Burr was on the service. Paige Barber back to serve for UND, still leading the team in kills at 7. Here's Weber. Martin direct set on 2, and Riley Martin does it for the 3rd time today. It's 9-5. The Jackrabbits lead by 4. Riley Martin will go back to serve it. Martin behind the line after her 3rd kill of the match. And this one to McCormick for UND. Here comes the return. That one hits Scott squarely, and it gets popped up close to the net. Martin back to Sconce. Sconce on a tip over, and a kill for Sylvie Sconce. A messy dig by Sconce, but it ends up in her favor. She gets the kill there. It's 10-5. Jacks by 5, set number 3. Here comes a timeout from UND. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into First Bank and Trust. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegian Sports, broadcasting to you the last regular season match of the volleyball season here. A couple more games coming up for the Jackrabbits Monday and Tuesday for the Summit League tournament here in Brookings. We'll have it for you on Collegian Sports. So volleyball not quite over yet. The Jackrabbits looking to go undefeated in the Summit League here with winning this match. Riley Martin to serve it. The return by Rugley is blocked by Klein. It stays on the UND side. They go for a tip over. It gets above the block here to Sconce. Martin tip over by Shetnin, and Shetnin will get the kill. Sydney Shetnin's played 3 seasons with this Jackrabbit squad. Now a redshirt senior. Has had a magnificent career. Looking to go professional in volleyball. Riley Martin with a service. And it's back over. Here's Martin with a good dig on the return from UND. Rugley over. Here's Sconce. Martin and Klein goes too far to the right and out of bounds. Attacking error there. Hannah Klein with the attack error. And disappointed with herself about that one. Here's Kimani Rugley to serve for UND. Here to Richardson. Martin back set for Klein. Klein sends a heater, and that one's going to be a kill. Hannah Klein. Even though UND able to dig that one, they send it too far out of bounds on their attempted dig, and Hannah Klein with a kill there. And the Jackrabbits doubling the score of the Fighting Hawks now. It'll be 12-6. Klein hits the top of the tape, and it goes over on the Fighting Hawks side. It'll be a service ace for Hannah Klein. You don't see those very much out of Klein, but she gets one here tonight. Klein back to serve it again after the ace. This one too low, hits the net. It'll be a point for the Fighting Hawks after the service error.
Substitution for the Fighting Hawks, number 21, Sadie White. And number 18, Katie Revere. For the Jackrabbits, number 6, Maggie Meister.
Jackrabbits making some subs as well as UND. Back to serve for the Fighting Hawks, it'll be Sadie White. This one to Meister. Here's Martin back set for Ventling Brown. Ventling Brown gets it in the back row. It comes right back over for the Jackrabbits. Shetnin center net assisted by Riley Martin for the kill. Point for the Jacks. Shetnin points directly to Riley Martin. She knows where the volleyball came from, and that's some cooperation between two teammates for the kill there. It'll be 14-7. The Jackrabbits lead it by 7 in set number 3. Here's the return. Diving is Richardson. She could not cleanly get under that one. Point for the Fighting Hawks. It'll be 14-8. The Jackrabbits are leading by 6. Back to serve for the Fighting Hawks. It is Mathea Dalton. Dalton serve there to Sylvie Scotts. Here's Riley Martin. Burr gets blocked up front. Riley Martin again. Here's Scotts. Scotts across the net, and she gets the kill. Sylvie Scotts. 15-8, Jacks by 7. Sylvie Scotts has overtaken Madison Burr as the kill leader through this game. Scotts with 9, Madison Burr with 8 of them. Rachel Weaver's got 3 service aces today. She's back to serve it again. This one to the back row middle. Fighting Hawks with a spike. That's Paige Barber. And she's been a little quiet through the second and third set. She gets a kill there. It'll be 15-9. Jacks by 6. It's set number 3. The Jacks have won the 2 previous sets. Here's the serve by McCormick and the Fighting Hawks. Here is Martin's direction on 2, and Martin sends it over for her 4th kill of the day. That's worked every time Martin has tried it so far, and she's got 4 of them on the board. 16-9, the Jacks lead by 7. It's set number 3. Aaliyah Schlimgen, another one of those seniors for this Jackrabbit squad, playing the last time in the regular season here. And she gets the service cleanly across and comes back and down in front of Jocelyn Richardson. It'll be a kill for the Fighting Hawks, and it'll be 16-10, the Jacks by 6. Back to serve for the Fighting Hawks, it'll be number 9, Reagan McIntosh. Here's the service here to Scotts. Martin, front set to Hannah Klein, who threads the needle on the block again. And Hannah Klein's so good at getting it through the block on that left side. She does it every game I've been watching this season. And Hannah Klein gets it through again. It's 17-10, the Jacks by 7. Here's Madison Burr. Burr to the back right corner. Here the Fighting Hawks return it. Burr dives for the dig. Weaver down there to keep it alive and sent over by Scotts. Free ball for UND. Shetnin tries to block it. It stays down on the Jackrabbit side off of her touch. Point for the Fighting Hawks. It's 17-11. The Jackrabbits lead by 6. It's set number 3. Paige Barber to serve for UND. This to Weaver. Martin back set. Shetnin. Shetnin across the net and down on the UND side. That one rolled across the top of the net and falls on the UND side in empty space. It's 18-11. The Jacks by 7. Back to serve is number 5, Riley Martin. Martin serve to the libero McCormick. Here is a return from UND to Scotts. Ventling Brown tips over on an assist from Martin. And this one falls on the UND side as they cannot get a clean return. It'll be an attacking error for UND. Point for the Jacks. It's 19-11. Jacks by 8. It's set number 3. Martin to serve it again. The Jacks 6 points away from going undefeated in the Summit League this season. Return from the right side. It's UND with a kill. Dalton with a kill there. It'll be 19-12 now. The Jackrabbits lead by 7. Service from UND. Here is Martin on a tip over on 2. Whistle. And a point awarded to UND. I think they're going to call a lift there on Martin. And Gimani Rugley to serve again for UND. Here to Klein. This one close to the net. Martin has to bring it back in, and Klein gets it across. Here UND's return is a tip. It gets above Klein. Shannon dives for the dig that time. Here's Klein on the return. They sit in the back row of UND. They set it down in front of Richardson, who was diving for that one and couldn't get under it cleanly. And it's going to be 19-14 now as the Jacks lead by 5. Rugley serving still for UND. This to Scots. Richardson to Klein. Klein through the block and down on the UND side, and Hannah Klein gets the kill on that left side again. Hannah Klein's got 7 of them today. She'll be back to serve it. Hannah Klein. And this one hits the Summit League logo. You know what that means. It's out of bounds on the back line. Sent it too far. Point for the Fighting Hawks. It'll be 20-15. The Jackrabbits lead by 5. It's set number 3. Sadie White to serve for the Fighting Hawks. And head coach Dan Georgialis talking with the replay official. We'll see if we get a challenge here from the Jacks. And we will see, and yes, we're going to get a challenge. We're going to take a look at this one on the replay board. It's the Klein service. Did it end up on that line, or did it hit the Summit League logo? That's what we're looking at. That volleyball very close to that back line. Think it may have just etched out of that line. It's close. Dan Georgialis thinks it warrants a challenge, and they're taking a look at this one at the replay board. And this one going to be a Hannah Klein service, so we'll see if this gets changed over. The Jackrabbits looking to put this one away quickly in the third set with a sweep here against the Fighting Hawks. Headed into the Summit League tournament, the Jackrabbits will have a first round bye on Sunday. They'll have the number 1 seed, already clinched it earlier last week. And the Jackrabbits facing off against a team that wins the first round on Sunday. And they'll play that game on Monday. And then on Tuesday, the schedule is still to be determined. We will see. Looked like USD was second in the Summit League, and followed by the Bison and St. Thomas tied for third. That's the top 4 in the Summit League, so teams to look out for as we move into the Summit League tournament. The Jackrabbits have beat each of those teams twice this season. The Jackrabbits looking to put away the Fighting Hawks one more time and go undefeated in the Summit League, the 11th team to ever do it. 16-0 in conference play. The last time this happened was in 2019 with the Coyotes, able to get an undefeated season. And the Jackrabbits losing to the Coyotes last year's Summit League tournament in the final, and getting a at-large bid for the NCAA tournament, losing that one to the University of Miami. This year, the Jackrabbits trying to go back to the NCAA tournament, representing the Summit League. As they're still taking a look at this one down there, reviewing this Hannah Klein service, headed towards that back line. And we're about to get a ruling here. So we'll see what they say about this one. And still clarifying with the scorekeepers. Just taking a look at this one still. And that call is going to be reversed. They're going to say Hannah Klein's service stayed in bounds, and they'll take a point away from the Fighting Hawks and award it to the Jacks. It's going to be 21-14 now after the call is reversed. The Jacks will lead it by 7. It's set number 3, and Hannah Klein comes back to the line to serve it again. So it'll be counted as another service ace for Hannah Klein. That'll be her second of the game. Hannah Klein. To serve it. And this one down low into the back row. UND on the return on that far side. Back to Klein. Klein on the dig. It goes right over to the UND side. McCormick there for UND. They send back a return. That one just barely out of bounds on that back right corner for SDSU. And the Jackrabbits with the point there. It'll be 22-14. Jacks ahead, 3 points away from sweeping this one. And Hannah Klein on a roll, serving still. Klein, that one down in front of Paige Barber. This a return, and Klein cannot dig it in the back row. UND gets their point. It'll be 22-15. Jacks by 7. It's set number 3. That ends the Jackrabbit 3-0 scoring run led by Hannah Klein. Back to serve for UND is Sadie White. Sadie White hits the net. That one going to be a service error for Sadie White and a point for the Jacks. It'll be 23-15. The Jackrabbits lead it by 8. Here's Jocelyn Richardson, 2 points away from sealing this one. Tipped over. Here's Martin. And there's Meister here to Scott. Scott's over. And it gets to the back row of UND. Here is their return. Blocked by Sconson Burr on that left side. And point for the Jackrabbits. It's match point. Set number 3. 24-15 for the undefeated season in the Summit League. Jocelyn Richardson to serve. Richardson in the back right corner. UND looking for the return on that left side. Back to Richardson. Here is Martin. Scott's through, and it's for the Summit League. Undefeated Sylvie Scotts puts it away. The Jackrabbits stay undefeated. 16-0 in the Summit League in the history books. The 11th team to ever do it. Here tonight, history made as the Jackrabbits seal set number 3, 25-15 with the help of the Summit League Player of the Year last year, Sylvie Scotts, with her last kill of the game. She had 10 of them today. And an amazing day for the Jackrabbits. And head coach Dan Georgalis getting his 101st career win as a Jackrabbit here tonight. The Jackrabbits, plenty more to play for coming into the Summit League tournament. Starting on Sunday with the first round, and the Jackrabbits getting that first round bye. Going to be into it on Monday and Tuesday, hopefully Tuesday, with the Summit League final. So, the Jackrabbits go undefeated in the regular season for the conference. A beautiful accomplishment here for this Jackrabbit squad. And Dan Georgalis has a video up here on the scoreboard. He's asking for all the Jackrabbit fans to come out to the Summit League tournament to support the Jackrabbits as it's at home this year here in Brookings. It'll be at home next year as well as the Jackrabbits win the regular season. And we'll be back in Brookings for 2 years at least for the Summit League Volleyball Tournament. It's November 23rd through the 25th. We'll have every Jackrabbit match here on Collegian Sports. Let's take a look at our post-game report for the last time in the regular season. Let's take a look at our game stats for SDSU. The Jackrabbits took the first set 25-18, moved on to the second set and won it 25-14, and we get the sweep here in set number 3, winning that one 25-15. Take a look at our stat leaders for South Dakota State. Sylvie Scotts led the team in kills today with 10, had 2 errors on 20 total attempts, a hitting percentage of .400. She also had 5 digs today and 2 blocks. It was a block party up front for the Jackrabbits today. Second kill leader for the Jacks is number 8, Madison Burr. She picked up 8 kills today on 2 errors and 14 total attempts. Hitting percentage of .429, 2 assists, 3 digs, 5 blocks on the board for the Jackrabbit, Madison Burr. Hannah Klein was third with kills today, tied with Sydney Shetnan. Klein picked up 7 kills on 6 errors, 20 attempts, hitting percentage of .5, and 2 service aces and 2 digs and a block for Hannah Klein. Shetnan with 7 as well, one error, 13 total attempts, hitting percentage of .462. Assist for Shetnan and 2 digs as well. Riley Martin with 4 kills today on 4 attempts, a hitting percentage of 1,000. 30 assists and 5 digs for Riley Martin. Annalie Ventling Brown, a senior, picked up 4 kills, 2 errors, and 10 total attempts, a hitting percentage of 200. 3 digs, 3 blocks for Ventling Brown. Rachel Weaver had an assist, 3 service aces, and 3 digs today. Maggie Meister, 2 assists and 3 digs today. Aaliyah Schlim getting out there as well. A senior for the Jackrabbit squad, and Jocelyn Richardson able to get an assist, 4 service aces, and 7 digs. Again, congratulations to all the Jackrabbit seniors playing for the last time in the regular season, but they'll be back on their home court for the Summit League tournament. Rachel Weaver, a senior out of Northfield, Minnesota. Sydney Shetnan out of Sioux Falls, a redshirt senior. Annalie Ventling Brown out of Lincoln, Nebraska, a 5th-year senior. And Aaliyah Schlimgin, a senior out of Sauk City, Wisconsin. Congratulations to those seniors as they play for the last time in the regular season here, going undefeated. It's a good time to be a senior as you go down in the history books here for the Summit League. The 11th team to ever go undefeated in the conference season. The Jackrabbits do it here. We'll be back with more Jackrabbit volleyball on Monday for the Summit League tournament. We'll see who the Jackrabbits play after the Summit League selection, so we will let you know when we get that. Coming up in other sports, the men's and women's basketball teams headed into the Cancun Challenge. The first game of the men's will take place here in Brookings against Georgia State. That will take place on November 21st on Friday at 7 p.m. We'll not have that one for you here on Collegiate Sports, unfortunately. But then taking on Utah Valley and UC Irvine in Cancun, Mexico. That a part of the Cancun Challenge for men's basketball. The women's squad taking on Gonzaga this Thursday in Sioux Falls, the Pentagon, at 7 p.m. Then entering their Cancun Challenge, going up against the number 14th ranked in the country, North Carolina, in Cancun, Mexico on Thursday at 11 Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. And then taking on Columbia on November 28th, and then Kansas State to round out that tournament on November 29th. That Cancun tournament coming up for the women's team. Football squad picks up their last game of the regular season on this Saturday at 1 p.m. They'll travel to Grand Forks, North Dakota to take on UND, the Fighting Hawks, in their home turf for the last game of their regular season. Hopefully the Jackrabbit football team can pick up a win there and hopefully get a spot in the FCS playoffs. But we will see. The Jackrabbits on the cusp right now in a 4-game losing streak. So got to watch out there for football. Otherwise, women's squad's doing great. Basketball looking better than ever for the women. And Brooklyn Meyer looking amazing, nationally ranked in blocks per game and points per game as well. And then the Jackrabbit volleyball team goes undefeated here in the Summit League, and they head on to the Summit League tournament, and we'll have that for you on Collegiate Sports, so tune in for that. Thanks to everybody who makes this stuff happen. Thanks to Braden Byers, Brian Stemwettle, our faculty advisor at KSDJ 90.7, Matt Wiebert, Inc., our station manager. Thanks to everybody on Jackrabbit Volleyball. Megan, thank you for helping us out throughout the season. Megan is the athletic communications director for women's basketball and volleyball, and we appreciate her help in getting everything coordinated. And thanks for everybody else on our staff that makes this happen, and thank you to you for listening to Jackrabbit Volleyball in my senior year. We really appreciate your viewership throughout the Jackrabbit sports journey, and I've appreciated every experience I've been able to gain here working these Jackrabbit athletics games. It's really been a great experience. But we'll be back next time on Monday for the Jackrabbits volleyball game in the Summit League. So tune into that. I'll be doing plenty more sports here as the year continues. All right. As always, go big, go blue, go Jacks. I've been Ben Anderson for Collegiate Sports saying until next time, have a good one, everybody.